And we're live.
Yes, we are. Hey, that's my line. I like it when you said it, though. It worked.
It was more...
You felt it.
I felt it. I had to go with it.
It's Tucker and the Beard.
Hey.
Here in studio again.
Once more.
We went to the movies again.
We did.
Big surprise.
Shocked face.
Yeah. This is my surprise face.
Yes, and it was awesome.
I had a good time at the movies this week. In case you haven't been keeping up with things, we made a decision a while ago to not just review terrible movies because it was damaging our souls,
our psyche.
Yeah, we were having real struggles. I was having night terrors. He was blacking out behind the wheel. It was just really bad news.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
So we decided, we're just going to go see what we want to see.
And
we'll tell you about it. And if you like our perspective and point of view, then welcome.
Thumbs
and if
up.
not, the door's over there. You can't see it from here, but it's over there.
It's there.
So
yes,
this week,
yes,
we were gonna go see
we did
a movie with the kids.
Yes, plans kind of changed,
as they do. The best laid plans of mice and men often go awry.
And as we say, we have kind of a hectic schedule, and having families add a whole other level to having hectic schedules.
Yeah.
And
sometimes kids have, dance recitals and choir performances, and sometimes they get sick.
Yeah, exactly. And that was kind of the weekend. And it seems during the holidays it just gets more hectic.
Well, the weather's changing. Anyway, enough about us.
Yeah.
We saw a movie.
Yes. We were going to go see Wreck-It Ralph, but we weren't able to. Or I was not able to.
I went and saw it.
Let me stand there corrected. And so we decided, thankfully, I guess, to go see Creed 2.
Yeah, which
we saw separately.
We did. We saw. In fact, just this morning, I was still watching Creed 2.
Yeah, you invested hard.
I soldiered up, and I was the only person at the 10:05 showing.
Apologies need to be made.
Last night. So, huge shout out to the people at the Prescott Picture Show who didn't not let me in.
Yeah,
because
Tim, Jeff, and Kelly.
Yeah, that's not their real names. Their real names have been changed to protect the innocent. I could see the slight disappointment on their face, knowing that, that was the last showing they were going to run for any movie.
They were done for the night.
They were done for the night, and had I not shown up, they might have been able to go home a little early. So big shout out to the crew there for making me still feel welcome, because it was late.
Yeah,
I had an entire theater to myself.
Yes, and I went quite the opposite. I went to the 9:55.
Yeah, you went to the early
first showing. You went to the last showing. So I was not the only person in the theater, but I think there was one other person. And as I sat, by myself, excited for the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Full disclosure, I love Rocky movies.
Yes, as
I
do
love just about any boxing movie. I'll sit down and watch it. If Sylvester Stallone is a part of it, I will watch it.
Yes, I'm a big Sylvester Stallone fan.
I'm a fan, and I make no apologies.
He keeps giving me more reasons to
You know what the only thing I bought on Black Friday was?
No.
I bought the full collection of the Expendables films on Blu-ray.
Okay.
It was literally the only purchase I made on Black Friday.
Well played.
I'm a fan of Sylvester Stallone. I think he's fun to watch.
I think he's an awesome writer.
He is. He's not the dopey guy that he comes across in a lot of his roles as, especially not the role that made him famous, which is Rocky. You kind of, on screen he's kind of a, he's kind of dopey.
Right.
He's obviously been hit in the head a few too many times, but I appreciate his work.
Yeah. No, I am a huge fan of his, and it's the writing style that he does is kind of amazing. And some of the speeches that he gives is amazing. And he co-wrote this one. He wasn't involved in the writing in the last Creed movie.
Yeah, he didn't sit in on that one.
No.
And it showed.
Yeah.
And
actually,
that one wasn't bad either.
No, I was
like that one too.
I was actually a big fan of Creed.
Yeah,
of the first,
not the band Creed, not the
with arms wide open.
Not the band from Gainesville, Florida, who dominated the early 2000s rock and roll charts. Not that Creed.
Not the one that takes you higher.
Not the one that takes me higher. Okay.
So,
but the movie Creed with Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. Not related.
Plays the son of Apollo Creed.
Yes, who, unbeknownst to anybody familiar with the Rocky story, was the one that beat Rocky in Rocky 1 by split decision.
It's true.
And then later on...
Highly controversial split decision.
Yes, and then they're still talking about it.
They're still talking about it.
But ended up becoming friends, and in Rocky 4, Rocky was challenged to a fight by a large Russian boxer named Ivan Drago, and couldn't take the fight, but Apollo took it. And
bad call.
Paid for it with his life. Ivan Drago ended up killing him in the ring.
Yeah, and that fast forward.
Yes.
Several years, 30 of them,
to be exact. Yes.
And his son is now a boxer, and that's kind of where this movie begins. Is his son has just risen to the rank of heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, it takes place kind of like it picks up right after the first one a little
bit.
Yeah,
they've done the two
fights.
Creed films kind of the same way they did the Rocky films, where one kind of really does lead into the other. And
at the end of the first Creed movie, it ended similar to Rocky, where Creed, the Adonis Creed, had fought the heavyweight champion of the world and lost. But in that gained in huge popularity because of how well he did in the fight.
Yeah.
And is
Kids
now
hard.
Theme of this movie.
It'll come into play.
Yes.
Spoilers ahead.
Yes.
If you're not familiar, if this is your first time watching one of our movie reviews, again, welcome, but we ruin it for you. So if you haven't seen the movie and you're planning on seeing the movie, or it's been highly anticipated for you, now would be the time to
silence
watch something else. Silence and darken your electronic devices. Come pick up right here after you've seen the movie and see if your opinion or thoughts match with our opinion and thoughts on the film. So,
anyways,
on that note,
and if you're still with us,
bringing it back,
So, the movie begins a little bit later on, and he has had some other fights and has earned his right to fight the heavyweight
champion. That rematch, son.
Yeah, get the fight the actual heavyweight champion and wins, and he becomes
the champ.
Like his father and Rocky,
like his father before him.
We're not going down the Star Wars road.
No? Okay.
I just because we could take up the whole entire time. Yeah. And so then out of the shadows of the Ukraine.
Yeah, we kind of fade to your typical Soviet bloc apartment complexes where we now find
the trenches.
We now find an impoverished Ivan Drago waking up his son, Victor, to begin training.
For the day. And this dude is a beast.
He is the mayor of Jack City. That's there's no question about it.
He's the whole...
Jacksonville. Yeah. He's the mayor of Jacksonville.
Of Jacksonville, yes. Not really, but yes. He's a mountain of a man.
Yes.
So
he's a big kid.
And so it's their training, and they've been waiting in the shadows to
for the right opportunity, and wouldn't you know it, a somewhat unscrupulous boxing promoter,
I know,
just happens to be he's fighting, these kind of in the old school boxing world they would call these smokers,
right? And
they're in gymnasiums and things like that, and he's just
trying to make a buck,
dominating. He's trying to make a little money, which is hard to do in a socialist environment or a communist environment like Russia is.
Right.
Actually, they're living in the Ukraine, to be very specific.
Well, because what you find out is after Rocky IV,
after Ivan loses to Rocky,
he is shamed,
shunned, even
kicked out of Russia,
and he's relegated to being just a peasant in a socialist or a communist. Excuse me, I used the wrong term, but a communist country, and
his wife leaves him, which is played by Brigitte Nielsen
again.
Yes, again. So she and
continuity.
Yeah, and she comes back.
They did a good. That made me happy. I was like, nice.
They brought back Red Sonja.
Didn't know she was alive.
Yeah.
So, props.
If you get
being alive, Brigitte.
Yeah. And if you get the Red Sonja reference,
thank you. Flav.
Or the Flavor Flav reference. Hey, that's dark time. We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about.
Just stick to the Red Sonja. So they've been shamed. So Victor, who's his son, has never known his mom because she left them.
Yeah, because
they've been shamed and living in
now they work in some nondescript
mill
manufacturing facility.
Yeah, and his life is boxing.
Yeah, he wakes up, he trains, he goes and does his weird job where he has to stack pallets and move concrete, and then he goes and he fights, and then he goes to bed, and then he
trains.
His dad wakes him up by punching him in the face. Yeah. That's how this kid gets to wake up every single day of his life.
Yeah, so this kid's life has been like revenge.
Yeah, he's...
this, and
so
very
Sith-like. Not to bring it back to the Star Wars, but man, there's a lot of the hate is strong,
very, very strong, and yes. So, this boxing promoter
he notices. He's like, "Hey,
this is a good opportunity.
Adonis is becoming a thing. He just got the heavyweight belt, and now I'm gonna go." And he sees that Victor's been he's obviously a powerhouse in the ring.
Yeah,
and. I think I can make some things. We can do Drago Creed 2.
Yeah.
Revenge of
the Drago. Revenge of the Drago. Yeah, and so they set it up, and all of a sudden come out of nowhere, and Adonis Creed he's got a lot of stuff going on in his life.
He does. He's just about to get married.
Yep.
Or maybe he is married. The timeline was a little...
Well, he got
I think they were married. He got the belt. He proposed to his girl the same night.
Which, another thing, his girlfriend, played by Tessa Thompson, who did an awesome job.
Fantastic, yeah.
Had hearing issues.
Mm-hmm.
That her hearing was starting to
deaf.
And
partially deaf.
Or going deaf, yeah. And in this one, it's just gotten worse. Which is kind of a strangely funny moment as he kind of went on this big old spiel proposing.
And she couldn't hear a word of it.
She didn't hear a word and turned around as he was on his knee after he was getting this really nice speech.
It was like a super touching moment followed by a mildly humorous moment. It was good balance. It was good. It was good filmmaking.
So it's strangely funny. Maybe that's just my sense of humor.
We go dark sometimes.
He ended up scaring her because she didn't hear any of it.
Yeah, and she slammed the door in his face, which is how every man wants his proposal to be received.
So it kind of takes a little bit of a turn because he realizes that she didn't hear him, and it's gotten worse. But she ends up saying yes. Sorry, spoiler.
Yeah.
And then
they do things that married people do.
Right. And babies happen.
Now, and baby makes 3, which they don't find out before the first fight.
Right. Well, no, they do.
Do they?
Yeah, because he goes to he accepts the
first fight,
and he's going to tell his mom or
that's
adopted
right.
mom,
and his mom realizes that
she's pregnant.
Before
They knew.
She even realized that she was pregnant.
They were having dinner so he could say, I'm taking the fight.
Yeah. And she thought that they were making a pregnancy announcement.
Right. Which then they realized that she's pregnant.
Oh, snap.
So now he's...
Plot twist.
Yeah, plot twist. So now he's taking the fight.
And being precariously placed in the same position that his father was placed in.
Right.
A pregnant significant other.
Right.
And a fight with a crazy Russian.
Yeah. And goes to talk to Rocky about it, saying, hey, I'm taking the fight. And Rocky's like,
that's
I
stupid.
can't. Well,
he's like, I'm not doing that. He's like, I can't go down that road with you.
Yeah, well,
Rocky
he has a lot of
obviously has guilt. You know, a lot of people blamed Rocky for not throwing in the towel in the fight with Apollo and Ivan Drago, which led to
his death.
Other spoiler alert?
Yeah.
Apollo's death?
Yes.
So, in case you haven't seen Rocky
I
IV.
know, it's like, we're a little bit past spoiler alert on that
Yeah, it's only been 30 years.
And it's in the trailers for this actual movie.
True story.
So, yeah, so Rocky steps out of his corner.
He's like, I can't do this with you.
Yeah.
And of course, Adonis being the hot-headed...
He's dangerous.
He's dangerous. The hot-headed young man that he is, he's like, I don't need you, Rocky. And, does it anyway.
Says some very Kevin McAllister things.
He says some
I don't need
things.
you.
Yeah.
You live alone.
Yeah,
I'm the only one that loves you.
Yeah, he was not nice to Rocky. And, Rocky was just like
that's going to convince somebody.
Do what you got to do. You got to fix the light. And there's a light post that's been out in front of Rocky's apartment for years. And,
that's all he can talk about. That's all he can talk about.
He won't shut up about it.
It's like, we get it, man. It's a light. So he takes the fight.
Yep.
And to say it went well
would be an entire lie.
A bold-faced lie.
Yeah, it would not be a partial truth. It would be an entire lie.
Yeah.
The only thing better about the fight between Adonis and Victor than was better between the fight between Apollo and Ivan is that Adonis doesn't quite die. He comes real close.
Real close.
Several broken ribs, which the sound effect team on this film was great.
There was some celery overload.
I felt pain for Adonis when he took those shots to the ribs. You could
hear
him breaking. You knew the kid was down. Yeah. But, again, he's a fighter. He's got lots of heart.
Yeah.
A continuing theme through the film. And
he keeps getting back up and keeps getting more bones broken.
Yeah.
And
gets his kidney ruptured.
Right. And
lots of bad news.
Kind of in the corner of the Drago, let me kind of set that up, is you can tell Victor, who's the son, is just... he hates his life.
He hates his life... But he really takes a lot of direction. He's very focused on pleasing his father.
Right.
He really, he has that. That's his main motivation. Is he doesn't necessarily hate Adonis, but what he hates is what Rocky did
to his family,
and what happened to his family because of his father losing that match and then being disgraced. So it were, like I said, they really gave him the boot after Rocky IV.
Right.
And it's Ivan's life was never quite the same.
And we were kind of talking about it and choosing my words carefully that you become very sympathetic towards the Dragos. Surprisingly.
Yeah, you're like, oh man.
But every
Those
time
people
he's
were
going
jerks to the Dragos.
I mean, Victor is
first of all
pummeling Adonis.
Oh yeah.
And Ivan's just break him. And he just keeps, he's like, why haven't you won already? Why,
after the first round, the kid's sitting down, he's like,
we're being disgraced.
Looks like you haven't won yet.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the fact that he knocked the kid down a few times.
Broke bones.
He's like, you see how he keeps getting up? That's because you are a disgrace to me.
Right, and you're a disgrace to Russia. And we're a disgrace, and you're failing Russia.
And let's pull up some facts real quick that Ivan's wife, she is a gold-digging...
Yeah.
She is not She's not a high quality human being.
No,
She's not a high quality human being. Kind of. I'll be careful here. I promise. Kind of a prime example of why communism doesn't work. Because there's always a ruling class.
Not sure where to go from.
Regardless of how communism pronounces itself and tries to portray itself as being, a system of fairness and equality for everyone where no one is better than anyone.
Right.
It never works out that way, and this is a prime example, really.
Right.
Because she just bounces, she was only hanging out with Ivan because he was
going to be the next
hot stuff, and he was bringing honor to Russia. And as soon as he was disgraced, she was out and on to the next rich dude.
Yeah. Which does kind of
she stays with for presumably the next 30 years. We don't know what her relationship status was, but
she could have gone Flavor Flav to this guy.
Yeah, she could have. That was a dark period for you, Brigitte. I'm sorry.
But yeah, you feel very, very sympathetic, and so in that match, he's going to the corner. He's already beaten.
Yeah, I never felt sorry for Ivan Drago.
Yeah.
In Rocky IV.
Oh yeah.
But I felt sorry for the Drago family during this movie
because it's like he knew how to fight and everything, and he lost. He lost to Rocky, and
he cheated too.
Well, that's neither.
Which they never address.
That's your big thing. Yeah.
Well, they minorly address it, but not in the way that I was anticipating. Frankly, again, rewinding because we have to Rocky IV. Ivan Drago was on steroids.
Right.
That was one of the things that made him as strong and big as he was.
Right. He shot up.
Yeah. And so I was expecting there to be some sort of twist on that, and there wasn't, which is fine. It's not like I'm like upset that they didn't address Ivan Drago's steroid use from 30 years ago.
Right.
I don't think we should be addressing many things from 30 years ago, but that's neither here nor there. But I kind of thought that maybe they were going to make his son as a cheater as well.
Right.
And they did, just not in the same way.
Right. Because
we cut to the end of this fight, and Adonis is down on all fours, man.
Yeah, he gets dropped down to all fours. The fight's pretty much done.
Over.
And because of
his father's urgings,
end him, break him, whatever, he does a blow to him while he's down.
Yeah. Which, in case you're wondering, is illegal in sanctioned boxing.
Yeah, it's very, very illegal. And even though he would have severely won that fight.
The fight was already won, but he chose to add that exclamation point anyway.
Yeah, and he gets disqualified.
And therefore, he still is not the winner.
And Adonis is still the champ.
A bad sport, really. You know, so again, bringing more shame and more dishonor on his family.
Right.
So to speak.
Right. And so that's the first, and it's Adonis is pretty much in like a coma almost. They have him
destroyed. Medically they have him medically under for several days.
Broken ribs.
Yeah, he might need surgery.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't know why the camera's beeping at me.
You want to go check that?
I'm going to go check it real quick. Stand by.
All right. I'll keep talking.
Yeah, you keep talking, and I'll make sure the camera's still running.
Yeah. So, yeah, Adonis is broken, beaten, bloody, and just spirit broken. Are we good?
I don't know yet. Just keep entertaining the people.
I was gonna say you're like telling me to hold on for one more day. It was a Wilson Phillips reference.
It was a Wilson Phillips.
Yeah, not a good one. But yeah, no, that he's just beaten, broken, bloody, and now is, having, I don't want to say marital issues because he's not who he once was. His spirit is broken. And so, his now wife or fiance, it never showed their wedding, but
it was a tough situation for everybody.
His girl is very, very concerned because he's not himself.
Yeah.
And it's having a hard time. It's like Maverick getting back in the plane. He's got to keep... Huh? Too soon? Okay.
You keep making Goose references, and I keep telling you it's just hasn't been long enough.
R.I.P. I'm with you. But it was kind of that thing of, it had to take a little bit. And, Rocky tried to visit him, feeling very shamed that he wasn't in his corner and everything, and
he didn't give him exactly a warm reception in the hospital.
Right.
He was
Yelled
understandably upset.
Yeah.
And rightly so.
Yeah. So, he kind of starts trying to rebuild himself a little bit. Connects with Rocky again.
Rocky is this character throughout the entire
franchise
scenario of the Creed scenario,
right?
Where he's like constantly rejected when things don't go right, but he's always there,
right?
He's always going to be in Adonis's corner,
right?
Whether Adonis wants him there or not.
If he's a boxer,
and
or
whether
not,
and what I mean by in his corner, because he obviously wasn't in his corner literally for that fight. Figuratively, he was there for him, and it's just he's kind of that figure in this whole story where it's like he's just there in the background.
Right.
Always. He's
like
always watching. He's always caring.
Figure.
He's literally being a better father figure to Adonis than he is to his own son.
Right, because his son has kind of rejected.
They're estranged.
Because of
is
the
Rocky, word I would use.
The Rocky name. It was hard for him to kind of build his life and everything
in his father's shadow. Yeah.
So he's moved to Canada.
Yeah.
I believe, and started a family. And you learn in this one that he's a grandfather.
Yeah.
And hasn't been involved
Can I say they did a fantastic job of casting that little kid to look just like his fictitious grandmother.
Yeah, dude.
I was astonished.
I was trying to hold it together. Yeah, I was trying to hold it together.
That little kid showed up on the camera, and I was like, oh, my goodness. They did a fantastic job casting that. And Milo Ventimiglia is a fantastic casting as Rocky's son.
And comes back.
Yeah, he reprises his role, although briefly, in this film. And
like more than I thought. I had heard that he did a cameo, came back as Robert, as Rocky's son. But I thought it was going to be like 30 seconds at the end or something. But it's actually
it's a couple minutes, but it was powerful.
Yeah,
it was meaningful, and it made you wonder, what's coming next.
The end. We just jumped all the way to the end.
We're skipping around. We're skipping.
No, it's good.
Listen, if you don't know what happens in the final fight, you obviously haven't ever seen
a Rocky movie,
a Rocky film.
Yeah.
Wins.
Yeah. So exactly. Spoiler. No.
Whoops.
Yeah. Watch a Rocky movie.
Yeah.
But
or any sports film.
Right. And but then it's the baby being born.
Yeah.
And the baby ends up having
the same health issue, the hearing issue that his mother has.
Yeah.
Her mother. Excuse me.
So it's like all these things, and then, but when Rocky comes in, stop it. But when Rocky comes back in, and now the Dragos
they're more hell bent on revenge.
They're throwing dirt. And
because everyone thinks that he won.
Right.
Everyone. I mean, even
Adonis.
Even Adonis knows that
he was
that Victor won that fight.
Yeah. So now he's got something to prove to himself.
Yeah.
And he would.
Well, and that was the thing right before the first fight in the film. Where Adonis is going for the heavyweight title. Mm-hmm. Rocky says, "Are you trying to prove something to yourself or everyone else?"
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the litmus test that Rocky uses. Don't do this to prove to anything to anybody else. You got to do these things to prove it to you
that you can do it. And he does that.
He does it.
But in the first fight, he's not thinking that way.
Yeah.
He's as later
because he doesn't have Rocky in his ear the whole time.
Right. And Rocky kind of tells him it's like you weren't in the right frame of mind, which is just kind of a life. Anytime Rocky comes in on the screen, you're like, I'm about to learn a life lesson,
dude. Rocky is, I hate to keep kicking back to, like Star Wars references. Dude, Rocky is an old Philly Yoda.
Yeah.
He's just Yoda who's been punched in the head a lot of times
and has learned
and has a little bit of a has a little bit of a speech impediment because of it. You know, just
but other than anytime he comes on the screen, you're like, I'm about to
learn something.
I'm about
right
to
now.
learn a life lesson. And
if I put into practice whatever words come out of that man's mouth right now, I'm going to be a better person.
Yeah.
In 5 minutes.
Yeah. And so it was essentially that you weren't in the right mind frame, and you got to change your fighting style because that guy has been training.
He trains a certain. He trains
dirty
street.
Yeah.
You know, he's not in a gym. He's in the world, which, if you remember how Rocky trained for his fight against Ivan.
He went out in the world.
Remember.
Was it the cabin?
Rocky?
Out in the,
out in the snow, and so he takes him out to the desert, though.
Yeah, which I was like,
it looked like a prison yard. So it was like this weird prison yard in the middle of the desert with nothing else around it.
With like tires that you hit.
Yeah, tires and hammers
basic.
and ultra basic. But he kind of does the Rocky. You got to remember that Rocky remembers how to beat Ivan Drago because he beat Ivan Drago.
Right. So
but of course, Adonis didn't want to listen, and now he's finally, able to
get in the smarts.
Yeah, he's like everything else. Mindset is everything.
Right. Because I should say the rematch was under the conditions. It was in Russia.
Yeah.
Which they've really said, and I didn't even think about it, but they laid it out there that if it goes to a judge's decision,
there's going to be a biased
it's
judge.
going to be Drago.
Yeah.
So it's like we can't let it.
We can't let it get that far.
So you got to fight to take him out.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Fight for your right to party, man.
Beastie Boys. Nice. Yes. So yeah, it gets the whole rematch. Adonis gets his kind of life squared away, goes out in the desert, finds himself, gets in shape.
A hell of a montage.
Good montage.
Yeah.
Good montage.
Like top-notch montage work.
Yeah. And then it's rematch time.
Mm-hmm.
In Mother Russia.
In an arena that I couldn't figure out where exactly it would have come from in a communist nation, but whatever.
We're good with it.
And the fight's on. Well, and the entrances were epic. There was fire. There was live performances. There were everything that you could want in a boxing match entrance.
Right.
And
then
it was
Adonis's entrance was amazing.
Fire. There was an actual fire. That was Ivan.
That
was Victor's stuff. But yeah, he had lasers and everything, and it was
a live DJ.
Yeah, he had a live performance by his wife,
who's killed it.
Yeah, an amazing recording artist in her own right.
Yeah,
and it was. I was hyped up.
Oh, I was.
I was just as hyped up, if not more, than when I watch an actual boxing match.
Yeah. Oh, I get the same way if I watch a boxing match or like a UFC
match. Yeah, UFC
fights.
It's like you see those guys walking in, it's like,
yeah. I get jittery, and I'm like, oh, okay.
It's on now.
And yeah, the fight is on, and Adonis brings it this time.
Mm-hmm. A
little bit quicker.
Well, I don't know if you noticed this. I like to watch the fights pretty. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan. I'm not a super fan, but I'm a fan.
Right.
And in the beginning of the movie, I honestly had a hard time believing that Adonis was fighting in a heavyweight division.
Yeah.
He looked great, but he was lean.
Right.
He was really lean, and he was kind of small to be fighting heavyweight.
Yeah. At the end, he's big.
He is in the running for mayor of Jacksonville, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, he was a big dude. Now, he's still short. Right. You can't get around being short. You can't get taller, unfortunately. Victor is probably 6'2", 6'3". And Michael B. Jordan is 5'8".
Right.
He's not a tall man.
Yeah.
But he bulked up huge.
Oh yeah.
It was, and I think they did that on purpose.
Right.
It's the only reason that I bring this up. He was looking pretty lean and at the beginning of the movie, again, almost to the point where I thought, I don't know if he's really at a heavyweight weight, but at the end, by the end of the movie, he looked like he belonged in a heavyweight division. He was built.
Yeah, and he
had put on some muscle in the desert,
and he brings it.
Yes, he does,
and ends up
like he's gonna.
Right. Well, and even cheating at. Well, I don't know if it's technically cheating, but Victor went after the ribs.
Yeah, he knows it's a weakness.
Broke him again.
And he's going after it again.
Those things broke 5 times during this movie. And pretty much drops him, and Rocky almost throws
in the towel.
But Adonis is like, nope.
Nope.
And so
he had a little left in the tank, and man, did he give it.
Yep, and ends up bringing it back and
knocks down Victor from what we can tell. It might have been
the first time.
His first knockdown in his entire career.
Yeah, and it takes a lot.
And that really shifts the momentum of the fight to the point where after he gets knocked down once and he gets knocked down a second time,
pretty
quickly, it was a 12-round fight, and nobody really went down until after the 5th.
Right.
And Victor's mother leaves the ring.
Yeah. She leaves the
stadium.
Yep.
And that's when you really see the wind getting taken out of this kid's sail.
And in Ivan's as
well.
Well. You can see him, being the coach and just whatever. And so after he gets knocked down the first time, then quickly gets knocked down the second time, and gets back up, and he's done.
It's over. He gets knocked down. I mean, they both get knocked down several times, but
he's not falling. He's just standing there getting pummeled.
He just can't get up anymore. Then, as you received a headline just before we went live here, saying that Ivan Drago is the real hero of Creed 2 because Ivan does something that should have been done in Rocky 4.
Yeah.
It should have been done at the beginning of Creed 2.
Right.
But wasn't. And Ivan...
In the first fight. Yeah.
Yeah, in the first fight between Drago and Creed. Well, second fight.
Whatever.
Yeah. The first fight in this film between Creed and Drago. The towel should have been thrown in.
Yeah. And so Ivan gets up and...
He throws in the towel, finally, and he does what Rocky never did and has felt guilty about his entire life. And
but
you
that
can
sympathy,
see,
it's like you don't want bad things for them at the end because you feel so bad for them. But that's them just
halfway through the movie,
not going back to Russia.
Yeah, you still hate the Drago family.
Yeah, you still don't like them.
And then the cracks really start showing. They have this dinner scene where they're with the other oligarchs and in Russia, and the mother finally comes back, and you can see the cracks starting to form in Victor's mind. Like, really, I'm fighting this hard to impress her. Like,
and these
she doesn't
kicked us out.
Yeah. We live in a cinder block because of her.
Right, and we're sitting here at dinner trying to impress them, wanting them to invite us back. So when Adonis wins, it's not without you kind of feeling very bad.
You feel bad. You know that Adonis earned the victory, but you still feel a little bit bad for Victor.
Yeah.
But you also know that Ivan finally did the right thing. He's kind of his mindset shifted to a place where winning wasn't the only thing.
It wasn't everything that in his
about life. And you see, kind of as it fades into the final scenes of the movie, that his attitude toward his son has changed. He used to wake his son up literally by walking. The kid's sleeping on a couch, and he walks up and he just punches him in the mouth.
Yeah.
And that's the kid's alarm clock. Yeah. To where you see them still training,
but more
afterward, but he's actually showing some affection and some care for his son.
Well, I think in the beginning,
and to me, like that actually hit me in the feels a little bit too.
A whole lot. I think in the beginning of the movie, it was showing him running, and the dad was
pushing him with a car.
Yeah, was chasing after him with a car,
and when he caught him, he's like, "When I say it, run faster."
Yeah, run faster.
Run faster.
And in the end, it's them running together.
I think, yeah. And so it was, I thought they brought everything together with a nice, they wrapped everything nice and tidy.
Yeah, and it was after Adonis wins and is looking around for Rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky's standing outside of the ring, and just says it's your time now. Which even like
it's time for Adonis to write his own story instead of being just Apollo's son.
Right. And also, again, spoiler, that Sylvester Stallone did announce that he has officially retired the Rocky character.
Yeah.
And this was not only with that send off, and it shows him sitting down and letting Adonis kind of taking the mantle, but then cut to kind of his story wrapping up.
Yeah.
Which was him at his son's house in Canada, I'm guessing. And seeing his
finally
grandson,
meeting his grandson for the first time.
That looks exactly like
Adrian. It was spooky.
And they even address it.
Yeah.
He said, you look just like his mother.
Yeah.
Or you look just like your grandmother or something. And Milo Ventimiglia is like, I know.
I know, right?
Yeah. And it's them, he gets to be grandpa and goes in, and it's a nice little send-off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they kind of wrapped up the character. Sylvester Stallone has said that he's not going to reprise the character again.
Yeah.
Even in a supporting role like he has been in the last 2 Creed films. And I didn't even feel like they really left it. When you watch the end of the old Rocky movies, you know that there's another one coming.
Right.
And I didn't even get that vibe from this one. Like maybe this is the end of that franchise.
Listen, there could be.
Absolutely.
They wanted to.
They can keep it going, and people will keep going to see it.
Right. Or they could leave it. Yeah, or they could leave it, and it was a good little wrap-up that, Adonis kind of learned how to fight.
I mean, at the end of the day, we got 9 movies in the Rocky franchise? 8 or 9 movies?
Some we talk about, some we don't.
Well, there's Rocky 5, and we try not to talk about that one. It's almost, like...
difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
It's hard times.
But... I mean, that character in itself is just a huge character, and again, he comes on screen, and you're like, I'm gonna learn something. Mm-hmm. Some of my motivational stuff that I listen to is stuff of Rocky.
I think if I had one disappointment with this film, just one.
Okay.
I liked that they brought the phrase, they kept reprising like, break him, right. Just iconic line from the first go round, but I really wish they would have had Victor reprise the line. If he dies, he dies.
Yeah, which is the other iconic.
I thought after seeing they bring back the I will break him. I was hoping, I was like, oh,
they're gonna do it.
They're gonna do it.
They're gonna do it.
Especially after that first beat down that he gives to Adonis. And they go back for the rematch, and they're like, you almost killed him the last time. What happened? What are you going to do this time? It was a perfect spot for him. If he dies, he dies.
Right.
I thought that would have been
that would have
fun,
been a cool little...
but not a true disappointment, by the way, but just a funny little thing.
Like little wink and a nod.
Yeah, it would have been fun to have that in there. All in all, I really enjoyed the movie. It was worth,
definitely.
Very rarely am I going to say that a movie was worth staying up until 1 o'clock in the morning to watch in a theater.
Which, again, impressed
and this
me
one
when I got that message from you saying you were doing that. So, and I'm going to be going back. I'm taking my...
Now you have to go see Wreck-It Ralph, and we're going to bring the kids in for that one, I think.
Yeah, we're going to bring the kids in. We've got a couple plans to
stay tuned for that. We'll bring the kids into the studio.
Good.
We got a couple extra microphones. We'll figure out how to make this all work, and
it'll be good.
Yeah.
So
thanks for watching. I say go see it.
See it.
Yeah.
I say see it.
It's probably the best thing in theaters right now.
Yeah.
I did see Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, I was so. All right then.
And this is better than that. And this is better than that. So.
No, I'm going back to see Creed.
Yeah, you're going to go see it again with your lady.
Yeah, I'm taking my wife to go see it. Because she liked the first Creed movie, and I was like,
did she like the first Creed movie, or did she like shirtless Michael B. Jordan?
Listen,
there's
no guarantee.
Right.
She, at the end of the day, she liked the movie.
Fair enough. All right.
But I'm sure
shirtless Michael B. Jordan didn't hurt anything.
Right, exactly. So no, I know she'll love it and everything, and
cool.
I'll give a thing if she did or not. But
yeah, we'll update you.
Yeah.
Stand by.
So yeah, but then we'll be back next Tuesday for another show, and we got other stuff going on as well.
Yeah, we've actually got our first kind of big production that we're going to be launching into next week. In fact, it's so big that we started recording it a full week early today.
We started production today.
So yeah, it's definitely some really cool stuff coming from us.
Yeah.
Do us a favor if you're enjoying the content, give us a share. Tell your friends. We're still running that contest. We need about another 100.
I know.
To get up to 500 subscribers here on Facebook. I will be uploading all of our content probably in just one big dump up to YouTube, so you can find us there coming soon as well. But yeah, you can enter to win some cool Tucker and the Beard swag if you help us reach 500 subscribers.
Yeah.
So we really do appreciate all of your support. And until next time, he's Tucker.
He's Beard.
And we'll be back.
Yeah.
Peace.